A morning drive to the north side of Oklahoma City, Jan having a scheduled doctor's appointment to inquire about a intrauterine contraceptive device, a doctor's assessment required for an IUD application. The couple taking the elevator to the upper-level doctor's office, Gary seated in the lobby with 5-month-old Robert, patiently waiting for Jan's return. Upon exiting the doctor's office and waiting for the elevator, Gary sensed a perplexing apprehension from his wife, inquiring if there was a problem concerning the IUD. Jan, with an expression of surrealism, replying with hesitation, "The doctor says I'm pregnant." The unexpected revelation leaving Gary somewhat awestruck, not knowing exactly what to say but noticing Jan's subdued conjecture, smiled and said, "It looks like we're going to have an addition to the family." On the way home, the repercussions of the news enters one's mind. One thing was definite: a new horizon of responsibility was unfolding, the unexpected proclamation bringing with it the presence of a heaven-sent reality. The recently acquired 4-door 1966 Pontiac Catalina was a boat of a transport, with a 4-barrel 421 cubic inch engine. Jan's 1972 Torino, its transmission having been floundering for months, finally succumbing to its task from shuttling Old Blue to Oklahoma City, Gary giving it a leave of absence. It wasn't unusual to find the family exiting Oklahoma City early on a Sunday mornings. Gary able to push the Pontiac on his backdoor northwest route, the Pontiac's 4 barrels whooshing its hollow sound, the car having a mind of its own, ignoring the posted speed limit. The 175-mile trip time being considerably shortened. Gary's visits and Sunday morning church attendance enhanced a more favorable acquaintance, especially with the apostolic community and Jan's expedient family, her parents finally coming to accept the composition of a musician. Having been party to the acclamation of live music in Oklahoma City for the past 16 years, Gary was aware that it had tempered. The number of nightclubs supporting live entertainment and dancing having greatly diminished, the once working man pop culture of the past was no more. Concert events and country music was rising to a crescendo. The departure of Bob Wallace and Kenny Canada, who sought work with a country band, left Gary without a musical cornerstone. The perfected constable was no more. The Kelly Cuella Agency, his ensconced contemporary musical establishment, able to provide Gary a continual source of employment, the pianist turning down opportunities to return as a solitary piano bar performer, but accepting a non-responsible sideman position. Norman Powell and the Five Pennies were noted as an accomplished country music presence in Oklahoma City. A family-acquainted band, Norman and his 2 daughters making up 3 members of the group. The youngest daughter, Linda, playing drums, Penny, the star vocalist, addressing the bass, and Norman appreciating the guitar and adding vocals. Norman and Gary apparently having a mutual friend, country singer Kenny Canada, who was currently playing with a band at the newly opened Rhinestone Cowboy Club, just across Shield Boulevard on Southeast 59th Street. Kenny, having heard about Norman's daughter Penny having a finger reflex problem, losing dexterity, and was unable to realize the bass, mentioned Gary and his keyboard bass to Norman. Norman contacting the keyboard musician about going to work, mentioning he liked the idea of adding a piano to the already guitar-only sound of the band. The pianist having just accepted an offer to return to the Holiday Inn in Chickasha, but not as a solo performer, but as a sideman with a drummer and guitar player whom he had never worked with. Gary wasn't comfortable with giving notice before he even starting, but couldn't resist the offer to work in a family-orientated atmosphere, accepting Norman's offer. The pianist now joining the ranks of Oklahoma country music performers, aware he was in good company with the Buck Owens look-alike Norman Powell and his family. What Norman didn't know was, he also had the opportunity of Jerry Willis on weekends, whom Gary prejudiciously considered the best all-around lead guitar player in Oklahoma City. During the summer months, Spring Lake Amusement Park entertainment and publicity agent, George Grubbs, deciding to sponsor crowd-drawing daytime concerts. Gary, having been acquainted with George for years, was surprised when Norman announced the 5 pennies were to go to Grubbs' office to meet with a photographer for Spring Lake publicity pictures, to be used for the recently booked series of matinees. Norman, being the owner of an auto repair business, able to retreat from his daytime occupation on the days that the pennies were scheduled for a matinee performance. Gary, realizing even with the added gratuity from the matinees it was difficult making ends meet, and was becoming more cognizant of Jen's maternal condition of the approaching event. A realization, with the addition, it was time to search for a certainty of income.